What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com, and I'm going to answer some questions here from YouTube. Here's one here. It says, I have a lawyer acting as power of attorney to call and email to negotiate for me, but the Discover lawyer didn't return either phone call nor email. My answer date is coming up in a few days. My friend told me that I can have a lawyer to file for an extension for the file date. Can you tell me what I should do? File now and negotiate later. What do you think? Why Discover didn't want to negotiate now? Uh, First thing is that when you got that summons, the attorney should have did a response for the summons. And this is something that I see a lot, is that attorneys do not understand the debt process. What they try to focus is either to get a person to file bankruptcy, or they try to push the person to do a settlement, which is not wrong to do a settlement, but there's a validation process that you have a right to. You have a right to have your court summons responded to, and any debt attorney, one that is understands the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, will understand that they can write that summons to put that Discover lawyer back on their heels. Even if it is not a third party debt collector, you still have a right to have everything that they claim you used and benefited from in the summons to be responded to and to be challenged. You can make them uh, show that you did all of these charges. You can make them get your signatures, your timestamps, whatever that they are trying to prove that on what you benefited. And if you read the summons clearly, you will see that they say that so and so benefited from the use of this uh, from this credit card. So you want to make them prove that. It is not saying that you didn't do it. You just say, okay, if you're making these allegations, and when they send a court summons and they say that this stuff in there, you may not take it this way, but they're making allegations against you. And anytime someone makes an allegation against you in court, you have a right to respond to that and make them prove their allegations. Now, when it comes to them not answering the lawyer or you by phone, or by the lawyer by email and by phone, they can do that. That's why when we deal with debt collectors, no matter what, if there's an original creditor or a debt collector that has purchased a debt, you need to respond to that court summons. Now, you could potentially get your lawyer to get an extension on that, but you've really been given a lot of time. But what is the extension going to be for? Is your lawyer's going to say you want an extension to settle? Well, then they might just say you need to just try to work that out right now. Is it going to be an extension because you want to review the allegations? That's going to be more. That's going to be potentially a way that the judge will say, yes, this individual as a consumer has a right to review everything that you're alleging, and they're making certain requests with their response. But you need to get that response to that court summons, and you need to challenge everything that they're saying in there. Not to say that it's not you, but you want to say, I want to. If they say you owe $8,000, you need to say, okay, I don't remember $8,000. Can you get me the documents that show the $8,000? Not just some statements. Show me those charges. If you got to get all of them with all of the statements to prove it. And then I thought I paid some of that down more than that. Can you get me a statement showing all of the payments that I made? And while you're doing that, can you also throw in there, because I have a right to see this, the interest rates that you were charging during those periods of time, and any late charges that you had during those periods of time? Because I want my attorney to look at that to make sure that you're charging the legal amount for our state when it comes to charges and fees. That's what you need to do. So that's not running from it. That's not walking into court and saying it's not mine. It's not. No, this is how you get them to get into a position to settle, because what they don't want to do is they don't want to make this hard. They don't want to, when the plaintiff attorney gets that, this is going to make more hours for them, and they're not going to want to have to go into court and go back to their client and say, you need to get all of this stuff because we're getting asked this in court, and you have to provide it because we have to show it to them. The judge is making us show this. So that's what you're doing. And then you get the continuance so you can have more time, but this is going to be a settlement. And like I wrote here in the response on your comment, is that you need to be prepared for a settlement, and no one is going to guarantee you the amount. And most lawyers that work on this, if you hired that lawyer, it might be a friend doing it for you, they're going to charge a fee, and it's usually 15% of what they of the overall amount. So if it's $8,000 times 15%, they're going to charge you $1,200 off the top for doing that settlement. $1,200. So be prepared for that. Let's move on to the next one. I was supposed to get a court summons. They only came to my house twice. When I looked online, the lawyer for LVNV funding, that's that third party debt collector, paid the summons bill so they can still come after me and reopen it. Number one, the summons was sent to you by the plaintiff attorney, LVNV, because they did pay, and it's not to come after you later, it's to come after you right now. What they did is they dropped it at your door because you never answered or they were never able to catch you to get you to sign, but they only have to prove service. So that's all they have to do. If you look on your court summons documents that you might get additions to later or when you show up to court, it's going to have on there that they tried to serve you the summons on certain days, and that's all that's required. Other than that, you have to show up to court. You have to respond to that court summons. If you don't, you're going to lose by default. Next one, this is another person. They found it on their doorstep, and they didn't sign anything. It does not matter if you don't sign. You can answer the door and they don't make you sign. They just hand it to you. All they have to do is prove that they tried to serve you. Here's another one here. I have an AT&T bill for a modem. They said they received from 2016, but the debt collection company keeps updating it. Now what I do? What you have to do is go through the process with the go to AT&T and get them to write some type of letter saying if they received it or didn't. But you need to say to them, I gave it to you back in 2016, and you need to look in your records because what's happening is you've sold this debt to a debt collector, and they're coming after me for a modem that I gave back to you, and I don't owe you anything. See what they respond to from you doing that letter, and then you can move forward after that. Let's see here. Have a lot of people that, well, one person said that they're paying off, they had their last payment May 17th for Santander. They paid $40,000 for an $18,000 car. What I'll say to you is, like I said in my last video, if you didn't watch it, the one that I made today, earlier today, is that some of the times when you're going through situations, it's for learning experience, uh, so you're able to move forward better in the future. And that's what paying off your Santander auto loan, that's what's happening for you, is that you able to work your way out of it. You were one of the fortunate ones. And now moving forward, you need to be worried about who you get car financing from. Uh, let's see here. Some of the people commented on the with debt collectors being able to track you on Facebook, and someone said not if you change your privacy settings. Your privacy settings does not stop. Trust me, it stops them from viewing what you are saying, but it does not stop them from viewing what you said to your friends. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna call all of your friends and say, I got this debt collector coming after me. Anything that I repost, I don't want you to be able to repost it or comment on or like it or anything. Folks, it's not just you on how they find you. If it was like that, they wouldn't even use credit reporting agencies. What they're doing is they're just piecing up all the data, and part of piecing up the data is looking at the people that you put as references on those applications, and all of those people do not change their privacy settings. And even if you change your privacy settings, this is a computer. Computers are written programs. Computers, when people figure out ways to do things and see things on a computer, the computer doesn't go run and tell you. You only find out when you find out that it's been breached. People are breaking into main companies' computers, and you think that you can hide just because of your privacy settings from someone seeing your information on a public website like Facebook? Don't don't fall into that category. All right, I'm going to end the video here. I want you to make sure that you stay with a positive mind every day. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the website your3scores.com and get that service and keep that service and understand everything about what's on your credit reports. If you have debt collectors coming after you, use my 3 letters. I have 3 of them. The one is a cease and desist collection activities letter that can usually stop debt collectors that are just starting to come after you. The next one is the statute of limitations letter, SOL letter, and the debt validation letter. If you see that your debt collector is trying to collect a debt that's past statute of limitations, you immediately send that letter and they'll stop coming after you. Also, keep in mind that communications debt like cell phones and cable bills and stuff like that, there's a different statute of limitations. There's usually two. It's a 2-year statute of limitations on them being able to come after you. That's why they sell those real quick when they don't collect. And if it's credit card debt, it's 4 years. Everything else, you need to look at your state to see what the statute of limitations allows for people to come after you for debt such as a repossession loan or personal loan, payday loan, those types of loans. All right, well, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. Thank you, and until next time.